and talents that the Lord has given us, they will do two things. They will either increase or decrease. And I'd like to tell you how your talent increases. Talent increases according to the way you use it. When we use our talents for the Lord, they increase. And when we fail to use our talent, they decrease. Is that right? And this is not just true only with spiritual talents, but physically so, our gifts can increase or decrease. And I would like to not only look at the spiritual world, but I'd like to look at the physical world also, because they both apply to all of us tonight. Physically, any material thing, when used with care, will last longer than if not used at all. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I'd like to use an example here. I told you last night that everybody here was not born right in Memphis. Some of us came from the same place that I came from the rural, out in the country. More than y'all can say amen to that. Well, those of us who are familiar with the rural and the farm know about the turning fly. Oh, come on, yes you do. Now, a turning fly is something that you fly with. Is that right? And that old turning fly, while in use, that blade was just as pretty and shiny. But if you would set it up for a few days, it would rust on you. So you have to use it or lose it. Is that right? And not only that, but a dwelling house. I don't know whether you have ever noticed this or not, but a dwelling house, a house that we live in. Now, a house that we live in will deteriorate more rapidly when vacant than when occupied by an average tenant. And notice I said an average tenant, because the wrong person in your house will tear it up anyhow. But I had a friend of mine to buy a new home up in the other area they call it. And he left his old house to go to his new house. And he said, well, I'm not going to get in a hurry in selling the house, the old house, or renting it. I'll just take my time. And he just kept putting it off and putting it off. And that house just kept going down, down, down. Windows began to fall out. And the paint began to peel off. Eventually, the house began to leak. Is that right? There's something strange about that. A house occupied will just last longer than a house unoccupied. So the house will tell us, use me or lose me. I want to go have a witness here. And not only that, but an automobile driven by an average driver will last longer than an automobile not driven at all. Now notice I have to keep on putting this average driver, because you can put one of these fools in a car don't care what they come out. A rose rod will last forever. It depends on who's driving. Is that right? You put the wrong person behind the wheel, and a train won't last. But an average driver driving an automobile, that car will last longer than a car sitting up. I experienced that. I remember when I was first called to the United States Army, and I had an old car there, my first car. And I really admired that car. And I guess people should they used to talk about like, you think that car is just everything. But you see, they didn't know how long I had walked. And that's the reason now I don't, if people, people talk about sometimes, well, all those preachers do just ride in Cadillacs. And I told them at my church, I said, you all knew how long I walked and how far we used to have to walk and how hot it was and how many holes my shoes had. You all would just hush and go buy me another Cadillac. Now, when I first went to the Army, I had an old car, and my brother said, now listen, you ought to, leave the car out so it can be driven and it will, be in good shape when you get back on your first leave. But, I was a little selfish. I said, no, I'm going to put my car up, and when I come back, it still will be in good shape. I parked the car and locked it up, gave my dad keys and said, I don't want nobody bothering my car. And when I got back several months later, rushed on back, give him a key. And first thing, the battery had ruined. That's number one. Next thing, I had 4 flats. I had to fix that. Next thing, I had to get the water out of the gas tank. And then the pushing began. We pushed that car half a day. And it never did start. So the car told me, use me or lose me. I had a witness there. And not only that, but the human body is somewhat like that. Is that right? The human body is somewhat like that. The human body must be used, its strength is gained or retained. Strength unused becomes weakness. The man who does not work loses the ability and desire to work. Is that right? Any person who always doesn't work soon loses the intention and desire to work. Is that right? That's when you have so many lazy folks. A good way not to want to work is to stop work. This can apply to all of the members of the body. Is that right? The failure to use one of your fingers eventually will make that finger become paralyzed. Once again, back to the Army uniform, there was a boy who was in the same company I was in. He said, well, Daniel, I believe I'm smarter than you all are. I said, well, maybe you are. He said, I'm not going to fall out this morning in this stuff. So you watch what I tell you. I'm going to figure me a way out. I said, well, I'm just going to fall out. I'm not going to try to fuck the whole army. And one morning we were coming downstairs and he deliberately fell downstairs on purpose. You ever see somebody that deliberately just fell over? And he didn't hurt himself, but he played like he was hurt. He got up hopping. I said, what you doing, man? He said, you watch me. And he just started hopping. Everywhere you would see him, he was hopping. He went to sick call. Of course, they put him on life duty. He didn't have to go out like us. He'd see me and wink his eye. I said, boy, you better start walking. I said, that leg. He said, oh, man. I know what I'm doing. As long as I can stay out of this snow, I'm smart. And he just kept, and pretty soon it was time for us to start clearing, getting ready to come back on this side of the water, they call it, back to the United States. And you know, he started after he found out he was getting short, we would call it when you get ready to go on, some of you old veterans know we're getting short. He decided then it was time to start using his leg, and his leg had actually paralyzed. Matter of fact, it got so stiff he couldn't even bend it. He had to hop for a long. I don't know whether really his leg ever really got straightened out. So I'm here to tell you have to use it or lose it. Is that right? And we look at the spiritual life. The failure to use your spiritual faculties will result in the loss of things. Is that right? The failure to pray will result in the loss of your desire to pray. Or your desire to pray. There are a lot of people who used to pray, but do not want to pray now. Because the Lord started blessing them and they stopped praying. And now they don't even have a desire to pray. You have to use it or you will lose it. Is that right? There are a lot of folks used to get happy in the church. But they stopped. They stopped shouting in church because of education and because of who they got acquainted with. And now they try to get happy and can't get happy. You have to use it or you will lose it. Is that right? And then there are a lot of people who used to have joy in the home. Is that right? You call each other sweetheart and baby. And they just got careless and started coming home without even speaking to each other. Now they try to say it and something in them won't let them say it. You have to use it or you will lose it. Is that right? There are a lot of people who used to give in the church. A lot of folks, when they didn't have much, they used to give. But the Lord blessed them with a raise on the job. Blessed them with an increased bank account. And they said, well, you know, all they do run in church, just waste it. I'm going to keep my money. And they started doing that so long, not giving, until now they have lost the desire to give. And that's reason a lot of people are not being blessed, because they don't have no desire to give for kingdom business. And one of the best ways to be blessed is to be a blessing. The Bible says, give, and it shall be given unto you. I better leave that alone, haven't I? Now, we look at our scripture text here in a very beautiful parable. We notice here that some talent was given out. And everybody decided to use his talent. But the servant who had one talent, because he didn't have a lot of talent, he went and hid his little talent. And when the master came back, he said, now, take therefore the talent from him and give it unto him which had 10 talents. You see, if you don't use what the Lord gives you for him, he has the ability to take it away from you. Is that right? Job said the Lord give it and the Lord take it away. There are a lot of folks who could be singing in the choir. But they got where they could make a somebody. And they decided to take a seat in the audience. And now if they wanted to sing, they can't sing. You got to use it or you'll lose. So we notice here the Lord took the talent from the servant who failed to use it and gave it to another servant. And the Lord does that right now. Many times you wonder why somebody in your neighborhood is progressing faster than you. Well, it might be the Lord just might have taken your progress because you wouldn't use it and given it to somebody else. See, a lot of people mad and angry about other folks riding around, she thinks she's something. She thinks she's something. I had a young lady that went off to school. She came from a broken home. She went off to school and never did leave the church out of her life. Her parents died. She went off to school and ended up being somebody. But it didn't matter how much education she got, she never did get to church. All time comes to my brother's pastor, I just love the church. And then a group of the others just went on off and just neglected the church. And when this young lady walked back with her head up high, some of them come to my Reverend, she's all right, but she just thinks she's more than somebody else. She thinks she's more than us. I said, she is. I said, she sure is. You all, your parents had money here for you to go to school, scholarship, fellowship, and you all dropped out of school and got married and became mothers out of wedlock and did everything. Some of you got on dope. And this young lady had to sweat and work her way through school. And then you want to tell me she thinks she's more than you all she is. If I was a young man and had to make a choice, I'd sure demonstrate it. So anybody who has Christ in his life, and then everything else it takes, and a person who doesn't have Christ, that person is more. Now, in the eyesight of the Lord, in a certain sense, we all are human beings, but a person who has Christ has more than a person who doesn't have Christ. I wish I had a witness. So the Lord not only can add, but the Lord can divide. Not only will the Lord divide, but the Lord can subtract. And then the Lord can multiply. I want to do a hell with it. I made up my mind that talent, or those talents I have, I'm going to use them for the Lord. This is true not only in the singing field or the working area, or other areas, but it'll walk right on into the pulpit. Every man of God, the Lord has given him a talent. My talent might not be the same as Brother McKinney, or Brother Walker, or some other minister. But the Lord has left me with a talent. Is that right? All you got to do is be willing to use what the Lord has given you. And the Lord can take whatever you have. Is that right? Some folks say, well, I don't have nothing. The Lord can take nothing and make something. Is that right? Somebody say, well, I'm nobody. But the Lord can take nobody and turn around and make somebody. I want to have a witness. But I made up my mind here tonight to use my talents and my gifts for the Lord. And anytime you see a man start out to work on God's program, there's always going to be somebody standing there to turn you around. Is that right? But if you put all of your trust in God, I'm a living witness that he will stand by. Is that right? But any man who sits down on God's program, the Lord can keep it out. Is that right? And I'm going to move on there to close tonight. But my mind goes back in slavery time. Everyone said that there was an old lady, and she was some 85 or 90 years old. And she had to walk across the field every Sunday to go to church. And early every Sunday morning, they would see this old lady with a head rag on her head, walking across the field all the way to church. And when she would get into church, many times she would arrive there before everybody else. She would even pick up the paper on the yard, and other people around in the community said, we're wondering why you're still getting up early in the morning, walking across the field, coming to this church. And we know and we believe that the Lord will understand that you had an old age now. And you ought to just cool it now and sit down and rest a while. And you know you're up in the age now, and you ought not to get around like you used to do. And the old lady stood up in church that night and said, I would just like to testify, and I'd like to let the church know why I'm still getting up early in the morning, coming out to God's house. I just want the church to know why I'm still singing Amazing Grace. How sweet is my. I want the church to know why I'm still singing I love the Lord. He heard my cry. I want the church to know why I'm still singing, precious Lord, take my hand and lead me on. I want the church to know why I'm still singing, use me, Lord, in my hand. Said the Lord gave it to me, and if I don't use what the Lord has given me, He'll certainly take it away from me. And as long as I live, I'm going to stretch out on God's word. Oh, isn't that right? As long as the Lord gives me strength in my hand, I'm going to use my hand for the Lord. As long as the Lord gives me my eyesight, I'm going to use my eyesight for the Lord. I got to close here tonight. You know, I'm just like that old lady was. Sometimes they ask me, Reverend, why are you preaching so hard? Oh, Lord. Somebody said, Reverend, you know you are overdoing it. But I'm afraid tonight not to do the best I can for the Lord. I know the Lord gives it, and then the Lord takes it away. That's why my prayer is tonight. Lord, heal my hand. Let God about it. Lord, heal my feet. I'm going to walk for you. Oh, Lord. I believe if I keep on trusting in the Lord, one of these old days, one of these old days, if I keep my hand in God's hand, one of these old days, I don't know when it will be, but one of these old days, He's going to swing down the sweet chariot. I'll step on the pole. One of these old days, I'll step on forward. I'll find a way to be at rest. I'm going to rise a little bit
You've been listening to the Reverend W Leo Daniels. Use it or lose it. On this blessed Friday, may the peace of Christ, which supplies all understanding, grant your heart and mind in every situation. And may the joy of this day continue throughout your weekend. Our inspirational message from none other than our very own Miss Ham. Stay tuned for the Gospel Vibe Show.
Good morning, family. It's your girl Amelia, and welcome to the Gospel Vibe Show with your host, Elder Joe M. Smith Sr., aka Uncle Joe. Enjoy the vibe.
Good morning, family, and welcome to the Morning Gospel Vibe Show. I'm your host on the show. We're going to get right back with you in a minute, but welcome to Old School Friday Gospel. Had a little problem this morning, but we got it solved out. We're still working on just one more thing, but we're going to be with you live and in color here in just a moment. But in the meantime, in between time, go ahead, tap that screen, share the live, and I'll see you soon. Hang in there, family. We almost there. There's something when everybody get into it. So watch me. Y'all gotta help me. That's it. Make a copy, please. Come on. What's going on, family? Good morning, Sherry. Andrea, good morning. What's going on? Get that in. Anita, good morning. What's up, Messenger? Good morning, Tanya. Brenda Johnson, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the family. I got you, Sharon. Yeah, God is my everything. Yeah, welcome everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Gospel Vibe Show. We're gonna get started here. Ran into a little bit of problem this morning with the normal phone that we use to do the broadcast with. I guess it done died out. So I guess I'm gonna let Obama keep his phones, and I'm just gonna stay with the reliable, good old phones that we normally use. How about that? Hope everybody had a blessed night, and are you ready? This is Friday, old school Friday. The messenger is taking the day off on today because of a previous engagement, and that they worked that boy something crazy last night. Oh my God! Yeah, Obama man, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, but that's all right because we went into, as Jeffrey and the messenger called, the classifieds. And we pulled up some good old gospel music for you, and we want y'all to enjoy yourself today. Come on, let's get it on. And, I got a few questions for y'all today, but hey, how about some gospel? Let's go. So watch me. Y'all got to help me. Everybody put that together like this. That's it. If I misreading anyone this morning, please don't hold it against me. I just had to do a double take to get us started. We need to know who God is. Let's go. Oh, thank you, Sharon. It's all God. Okay. All right, girl, you go ahead and push that clock. We love you, Sharon. Here you go, just for you, messenger. Let's turn it up. Drop that fire. Good morning, Bishop Kim. What's up, my brother? You have a blessed day at work, Sharon. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Tanya. Let's put those hands together. Let's let them know it. He belongs. We are. He is. He is our everything. T.Y., thank you for the follow. Welcome to the family. Talk to him, Andrea. What's going on over here on Facebook, Maria?